Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So today I'm here to talk about the Pixel 6 Pro and whether you should consider buying one. And you're probably thinking that's an odd question because I've made a lot of Pixel videos. I'm a Pixel 6 fan, I'm a Pixel 6 Pro fan, but mostly I'm a Pixel 6 fan. I like what it brings to the table at the $599 price point. And then you look at $899 and a lot of other people, and of course I've said this in the past, $899 was a great price target to come in at, especially when you consider that the iPhone 13 Pro is $999, iPhone 13 Pro Max $1099, and then you look at the S21 Ultra was $1199, and was it $999 for the S21 Plus. So when you look at those things, it made a lot of sense when the phone came out, but the landscape has changed. There have been some events that have transpired with the software and the Pixel 6 problems, and now we've got the S21 FE out there, we've got the S22 right on the horizon. Who knows how quickly the OnePlus 10 is going to get here in the US? Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people probably left that I recommend go ahead and pick up the Pixel 6 Pro. And in some ways, it's not even the best camera experience that's out there. And it's very, very competitive. But as I said in videos before the phone came out, I don't think that the Pixel 6 Pro camera is as revolutionary as we thought it was going to be. And maybe that's because they haven't got it completely optimized with software yet. And this is something I've noticed across the board, especially when checking out like MediaTek devices versus Qualcomm Snapdragon devices. There's programming, there's apps, there's all sorts of support and refinements that need to be done to optimize the camera. You can get a phone and get the stock camera app, and then you can get like Gcam or something else on another Android phone, and it makes it look like a whole different camera. When you look at the Pixel 6 Pro, it's a very good camera, but I don't think it's optimized as well as it should be yet. And the cameras on the S21 Ultra and the iPhone 13 Pro are top notch, and still the iPhone takes the video category for video camera capabilities. And then the S21 Ultra, a lot of people consider that to be the best camera of 2021 from these series of flagship phones. So most people, I think, that were interested in the Pixel 6 Pro have already gotten it. And that leads me to believe, just the way that things have gone in the market and we're past really the buying cycle. Most people buy stuff during the holidays. We look at November, we look at December, and that's a big chunk of when people go out and they buy these fancy devices. So now that we're in the middle of January, we've got the S22 right on the horizon. A lot of people are really interested in that phone. See, I don't think a lot of people that were looking at the S22 are considering a Pixel 6. I think those are two kind of different markets. The Pixel 6 is $599, and it undercuts basically anything out there. And we know that the S22 is going to be at least $799, probably $899. Yeah, it's a really good, yeah, you can make a good argument for somebody buying a Pixel 6 at $599. And the features and basically everything in it are so substantially similar. You get basically the same performance out of the Pixel 6 they used to do the 6 Pro, except they added telephoto over here on the 6 Pro, and you get the 120 hertz refresh rate, the Quad HD, and the curved edge display, which by and large, most people don't care about. A lot of people actually prefer a flat screen as opposed to a curved edge display that you get on the 6 Pro. And then we know we've had the software issues, we had the bug issues. It took Google over 2 months to get us an update right on the heels of the S22 coming out so they could actually get this phone to work the way it's supposed to the day it was supposed to come out of the box. So it really makes me wonder, are there a lot of people that are interested in the Pixel 6 Pro, and should I even recommend anyone go buy it? Not that it's not a good phone, but with market confidence, consumer confidence, and the state of affairs with everything going on, right now I would kind of say take a wait and see approach, because the S22 is probably going to be pretty good. A lot of people are really saying that the S22, S22 Ultra, S22 Plus are going to be the best version of the cameras yet. Samsung has doubled down over the last couple of years and really hammered down their camera taking capabilities, their video capabilities, their software enhancements. And the biggest bump in the new Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 is going to be in AI cores and machine learning. So we're talking about basically a Snapdragon 888, but a much bigger emphasis on AI and machine learning, so they can do all the processing, the computational photography, all the different cool things that Google Wizardry has done the last couple of years. Apple and Samsung have largely caught up in this arena. So it makes it a lot harder to say, yeah, you should go out and buy a Pixel phone when you can get almost the same benefits and even in some instances longer support. You get longer support with an iPhone than you do with the Pixel. You get as long, if not slightly longer, support with Samsung. They're both giving 3 years of operating system updates. So where Google used to be industry leading in a lot of ways, especially in the Android world, now they're falling behind or on par. And that's what always set them apart, the longer support. You could get it and use it and last longer, the cool software and services. Well, now they've faltered in the software department. They even had to pull some features this last month because they had to fix them for the Android 12 update for January because the December update didn't happen. And the ones that did get it, it messed a lot of phones up. So at this point in time, if you were to ask me, should you buy a Pixel 6 Pro? I would probably say look at a Pixel 6 because the experience is so similar. And it's funny because the Pixel 6 has got a 6.4-inch screen versus the 6.7-inch screen on the Pro. They're almost exactly the same size. There's not a whole lot of difference screen real estate wise, and the 1080p looks good. And the 90 hertz refresh rate, it looks good to me as well. So most people are coming over from 60 hertz refresh rate screens. A 90 hertz is going to look pretty good, almost as good as 120 hertz. And then again, a lot of people like flat screens more than they like curved edge. And I don't really know that the value proposition is there when you consider $599 versus $899. $300 is a lot of difference, and I don't know that it makes up for that by adding a little bit of RAM, which you won't notice, and giving you a higher refresh rate and resolution, which most people don't notice and care about unless you're a tech enthusiast. And then you just get a telephoto lens, which how many people really care about taking long distance photos when you can already do a decent zoom in anyway? And when you're zooming in 2, 3, 4 times, the digital zoom looks pretty good. So it makes it a really hard sell and makes me wonder whether anyone should really go out and invest in the Pixel 6 Pro when the 6 is so good for what you get. And the Pro, yes, on paper, and when it came out back at the end of October, was a much more competitive thing. But considering the issues that it's had, considering that it has no facial recognition, considering that the 5G antenna just doesn't seem as good as the Qualcomm counterparts, and also the fingerprint sensor, it's better now, but it's been a very painful process the last couple of months. I think that the S22 is going to be a very refined product, and I think a lot of people are probably at this point waiting for that to see what it looks like before they go buy something else. So Google's going to have to get really aggressive with the pricing. They're going to have to find some sales, have to find a way to drop the price on the 6 Pro, I think, if they really want to move much of them, because I think once Samsung gets here with the S22, it's going to be mostly game over for Pixel 6 Pro sales, and then they're going to have to really hammer home and try and sell more of the Pixel 6. So that's kind of what I think at this point. What do you think? If you've already got a Pixel 6 Pro, do you love it? Do you feel like it's on par, the same caliber as an S21 Ultra or an S22 Ultra in the future, or an iPhone 13 Pro Max? In many ways, yes, and I enjoyed it a lot, but that's me. You're not trying to convince me. You're trying to convince somebody out on the street to go pick up this phone. And it's like when a new car comes out, you hear about it and you start hearing about problems. A lot of people have a policy where they don't buy first generation technology. I've heard that all day long. A lot of people have said, it's first generation. We should have known better. You should have known better. Don't go buy one. I'll wait for the second generation. And I think the Pixel 7 is probably going to be a fantastic, really improved, really hammered down, and they'll have this tensor chip thing worked out. But right now, I think it's leaving a bad taste in some people's mouths. And I think when you look at it abstractly and not just at the paper and look at it in the performance once it's hit the market, I think the Pixel 6 is a much better buy, and that's largely what I recommend people buy over the Pro, unless you're an enthusiast and you just have to have it and you just have to have the telephoto and the few extra features that kind of set it apart. But when you sell the other one for $599, it makes it hard to want to spend an extra $300. Like when you get the Pixel, like when you get the S21, it was $799. It's like $200 up to the $999 S21 Plus. This is a $300 jump, and that's quite a bit of money for people. You're looking at two kind of different pricing brackets for $599, $899, clearly marketed at two different sets of people who are looking for different features and different prices. But there's a lot of stuff out there that's competitive for $899 and $999, whereas there's a lot less at the $599 price point. So what do you think? Do you think anyone should buy a Pixel 6 Pro? Do you think at this point in time it's worth it? Or you should wait and hold off for the S22? Or do you think that with the software and the hardware issues they've had since it's come out, is it something people should even consider buying anymore? So you tell me, sound off in the comments and we'll talk about it. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.